Speaking of clueless actresses, Jessica Biel posted one of my favorite social media posts that I've seen in days. I don't know. There's really good stuff coming out these days because the libs are so clueless. They're so behind the ball here. It was a picture of Jessica Biel with her husband, Justin Timberlake, in front of the Eiffel Tower. She tweets out or posts on Instagram, "You have croissants and women's rights? Damn, take me back." Because France, you see, they've got women's rights. Unlike America, where in America, we won't let you kill your baby in some circumstances. In America, in some states, in some circumstances, you're not allowed to kill your baby. And so Jessica Biel, who is completely ignorant of pretty much everything, she posts this picture of France, which is this beacon of liberalism. It's leftism. That's where we get the term left in politics, comes from France, comes from the French Revolution. And she says, take me back. You've got good food and women's rights. Because Jessica Biel doesn't realize that France bans abortions after 14 weeks. France has, and for a very long time has had, much more restrictive laws on abortion than the United States does. But Jessica Biel doesn't know that. Jessica Biel doesn't know, she doesn't know what the Dobbs decision is actually going to mean. She doesn't know what the overruling of Roe v. Wade actually means. She doesn't know what abortion laws are around the world. She doesn't realize that America is the outlier when it comes to abortion. We're the outlier on the pro-abortion side. The only other countries that have laws as barbaric when it comes to abortion as the United States does are North Korea, Canada, America's hat, and China. The other countries are much, much more restrictive of abortion. And it's not even entirely Jessica Biel's fault. I think a lot of the French don't quite understand this either. I mentioned this at the very end of the show yesterday. The French, for some reason, are in France in front of the Eiffel Tower protesting the American Supreme Court's decision to overrule Roe v. Wade and send the issue of abortion back to the states.
Just really feeling this protest because of what has just happened in the United States. Can't believe our good fortune, and it just feels like a lot of solidarity here. It's very special.
It feels like a lot of solidarity. That's true. That's the only thing you can say about this. They've got signs, they're written in French, which is saying it's a right, it's the law. What law? Last I checked, the French are not subject to American law. And by the way, it's not even a right in your law, French. And by the way, the 14 weeks is a liberalization of abortion laws. Previously, it had been 12 weeks or 10 weeks. What do you mean it's a right, it's a law? It's the solidarity. This gets to something we were talking about yesterday too, which is this idea of a liberal world order, the Biden administration going on TV saying, stop complaining about gas prices, stop complaining about how your economy is falling apart. We in America, we've got to defend the liberal world order and you're going to have to pay for it. This is the liberal world order. This is hegemonic liberalism. This is France viewing itself not as an independent nation, but as a kind of just vassal of the United States, of the American liberal empire that spreads its liberal values all around the world. And so there's a sense of solidarity. Even when the actual law, the actual constitution of these countries does not back it up. And this is a massive acceleration. These French pro-abortion activists are not only out ahead of the French law, they're not only contradicting their own law, they're contradicting the view of abortion everywhere in the whole, even in the whole liberal empire, even in the United States, until very, very recently. Back in 2015, even back in 2015, 7 years ago, we were not living in the shout your abortion on demand without apology, have an abortion at the 19th trimester, your baby is going to be born in Virginia, and then you can make a decision of whether you want to kill him or not. We weren't there in 2015. In 2015, the current president of the United States, Joe Biden, then the vice president of the United States, said that abortion is always wrong.
You know, there's even been disagreement in our church Not that abortion is always wrong.
Abortion's always wrong. Abortion is always wrong. So says Joe Biden, the Democrat, then Vice President, now President of the United States. A mere 7 years later, we are at abortion on demand without apology. The court has made its decision. Let's see the court enforce it. Massive protests in the streets, not just in America, but all around the world. Biden right now is saying that of all the things destabilizing the world, the Putin invasion of Ukraine, the American complete surrender on energy policy, the collapse of the American and Western economies. Biden says the biggest factor destabilizing the world, overruling Roe v. Wade.
The one thing that has been destabilizing is the outrageous behavior of the Supreme Court of the United States on overruling not only Roe v. Wade, but essentially challenging the right to privacy. We've been a leader in the world in terms of personal rights and privacy rights. And it is a mistake, in my view, for the Supreme Court to do what it did.
The outrageous behavior of the Supreme Court to restore the rule of law and admit that the most ridiculous decision in American history that not even the libs defend is not a legit decision. That's the one thing destabilizing the world. Not the virus that escaped from the laboratory in Wuhan, probably. Not the global lockdown that occurred for 2 years. Not the major war in Europe for the first time since World War II. Not the collapse of American energy policy. No, it's that the Supreme Court is allowing the people of the states to make their own laws with regard to abortion. That's the most destabilizing thing. So says Joe Biden. Why? Because the United States has been a leader on the right to privacy. I can get right now. Pull out, just Google Constitution. Constitution. Okay, U.S. Constitution, boom. Find me the right to privacy. Where, do you have your Constitution pulled up? Maybe you're driving. Don't pull over. You can look it up later. Where is the right to privacy in the Constitution? I feel as though I'm sitting in a room with Joe Biden. It's a padded room. I'm a doctor with a clipboard. Joe Biden is there wearing some kind of restraint or harness. I say, okay, Mr. President, this right to privacy that you're talking about, is that right to privacy in the room with us now? There is no such thing as a general right to privacy in the Constitution. This was something completely made up by the libs. They said that it could be found maybe between the emanations and the penumbras and invisible ink somewhere in one of the amendments. And anyway, never mind, that's going to be the law now. And it never made sense, and it really weakened our judiciary and our system of government and the rule of law in the United States. And now it's falling apart. And they did it because they thought the ends justified the means, and they wanted a shortcut to contraception and a shortcut to the sexual revolution and a shortcut to killing babies. And so they did that, but it was always ridiculous. It was a house of cards. Now it's falling apart. And now the whole thing is falling apart. And so they're all devouring their own. Hold up 1 second. We are so close to 1 million subscribers, and I know what's going to happen. The minute we get to 999,999, you know YouTube's going to be waiting on the button. They're just going to wait, and then it's going to hit 1 million. They're going to nuke my entire account, but I don't care. Let's accelerate this baby. What will be, will be. Subscribe, send the channel to your friends. Never miss a notification. We'll see you next time.